In the quiet nurseries of 1970s Texas hospitals, something was terribly wrong. Healthy newborns would suddenly stop breathing. Premature babies, fighting to survive, would inexplicably crash. And every single time, she was there. At first glance, Genene Jones seemed like the perfect nurse. Dedicated. Hardworking. Always volunteering for the toughest cases. But behind those tired eyes and that reassuring smile, for nearly a decade, she moved from hospital to hospital. Death followed like a shadow. And when colleagues raised alarms, they were silenced. Transferred. Fired. I told administration, this isn't natural. They said, prove it. But how do you prove evil hides behind a stethoscope? In the bustling pediatric wards of late 1970s Texas, Genene Jones was the nurse everyone wanted on their shift. Dependable. Hardworking. The kind who'd stay hours past her shift to rock crying infants. But beneath that devoted exterior, ran a dark obsession. Because while other nurses dreaded emergency codes, Genene seemed to live for them. We'd have stretches with no incidents, then suddenly, bang, 3 babies crash in 1 week. Always on Genene's rotation. When I mentioned it to the charge nurse, she told me to stop being paranoid. It took a sharp-eyed pediatric resident to notice what others ignored. Dr. Holland discovered that of 42 unexplained infant deaths over 18 months, 38 occurred when Jones was on duty. The statistics were impossible to ignore. Like finding a single black thread woven through every tragedy. When confronted, Genene had answers ready. Premature babies are fragile. It's God's will. But then, we found succinylcholine, digoxin, even insulin, enough to kill a ward full of infants. Her explanation: I was holding them for a doctor. Problem was, no doctor prescribed them. Faced with undeniable evidence, the hospital made their choice. Not to call police. Not to warn other facilities. Just, a quiet firing. No records. No reports. Just a killer in white shoes walking out the door. This was Genene Jones' weapon of choice. Not a gun. Not a knife. A simple syringe, the very tool meant to heal. She'd volunteer for the night shifts when staffing was low. Always insisted on handling the critical babies alone. We thought she was dedicated. God, we were fools. Her methods varied. Sometimes succinylcholine to paralyze their lungs. Sometimes digoxin to stop their hearts. Always fast-acting. Always untraceable. At first, these are drugs we use in carefully measured amounts. In the doses she administered, death would be instantaneous. And to a baby? It's unconscionable. For years, she played this twisted game. Create the crisis. Play the hero. Bask in the praise. Until one case broke the pattern. Mother, Genene said it was just a routine antibiotic shot. 2 minutes later, my baby was blue and gasping. Dr. Holland, I saw the needle mark on Chelsea's thigh. Much larger than it should have been. When I demanded an autopsy, Genene panicked. This time, the evidence couldn't be ignored. The syringe. The drug residues. The timeline that placed Genene alone with Chelsea at the exact moment she crashed. The levels of succinylcholine in this child's body were 10 times the lethal dose. This was no accident. When the numbers became undeniable, when 47 infants had died under one nurse's care, the hospital board held an emergency meeting. Not to alert authorities. Not to comfort grieving families. But to calculate the cost of the truth. We knew firing her outright would raise questions. So we offered a deal: resign immediately, keep your license, and we'll say it was personal reasons. They erased her crimes from hospital records. But they couldn't erase the memories of staff who'd seen too much. March 14, 1981. Another baby gone. Jones was alone with him. I told Dr. Reynolds, but he said, unless you saw her inject something, shut your mouth. With blood money in hand and no criminal record, Jones needed a new hunting ground. And the hospital gave her the perfect reference. That letter was a death warrant for every child at her next job. And they knew exactly what they were doing. At Kerrville, the killings escalated. No ICU protocols. No oversight. Just Genene alone with healthy children during routine checkups. Parents would beg her to care for their kids. She had this way about her. Then. The screams. Always the screams when they crashed. When 15-month-old Rolando Santos survived her attack, barely, the bleach burns proved intentional harm. Finally, police were called. But what they found in Genene's apartment, 32 stolen vials of lethal drugs, a diary entry, "They call me Angel of Death. I've earned it." Newspaper clippings of her victims' obituaries. This wasn't negligence. This was a trophy collection. Despite overwhelming evidence, Genene Jones walked into court with shocking advantages. A legal system unprepared for medical murder. A hospital that withheld records. And a defense team exploiting one grim loophole. We had 40 deaths, but could only prove Chelsea's murder. Why? Because the other babies were buried before tests could be done. In 1984, she received a 99-year sentence for killing just one child. But Texas mandatory release law meant she'd serve only 30 years. Walk free by 2018, we begged prosecutors, dig them up. Test them. But the state refused. Too expensive. Too difficult. Then, a miracle. As public outrage grew, a rookie DA reopened Joshua Sawyer's 1981 death. This time, decades later, we found digoxin still in his tissues. Jones poisoned him, 2 sentences. Same crime. Different eras. The system failed, until it didn't. Because of Genene Jones, hospitals now have safeguards we take for granted. Automated medication dispensers that track every milligram. Mandatory reporting laws for suspicious deaths. But peel back those high-tech systems, and the human factor remains dangerously unchanged. The technology improved, but the culture? Still toxic. A 2023 study found 68% of nurses who report concerns face retaliation. Sound familiar? 1982 hospital memo reading, "Keep Jones' complaints internal," versus 2023 email from a major hospital chain, "Do not discuss incident with media." After Genene, Texas passed the Death by Foul Play Act, requiring autopsies for all unexpected hospital deaths. But here's the problem: small hospitals still use manual systems. No barcodes. No cameras. If someone wanted to steal drugs or, worse, they could. Easily. Chelsea's mother, "They use my daughter's name in training videos now." Lessons learned. But I see the same excuses when new cases emerge. It's just one bad apple. The system worked. No. The system failed. And it's still failing. The greatest lie Genene Jones taught us? That this couldn't happen again. But in 2022, a Pennsylvania nurse killed 3 patients with insulin. In 2023, a California doctor ordered fatal doses for 12 elderly patients. The methods vary. The enabling silence remains the same, so here's the uncomfortable truth: Genene Jones wasn't some once-in-a-century monster. She was an ordinary nurse who discovered how easy it was to kill, and how hard institutions fight to hide their complicity. Genene Jones got away with murder for years because people stayed silent. Don't make the same mistake. Act now. Smash that like button. It's the fastest way to sound the alarm. Every thumbs up tells YouTube this story must be seen. Subscribe. New shocking cases drop every 72 hours. Next video exposes how hospitals still hide suspicious deaths. Comment, protect patients below. Your words could save lives. Then share this immediately. Tag someone who needs to see this today.